I'm Mike DeLisa.
Hi, I'm Ryan Cabrera.
My name is Ben Lemieux. Without music, my life would not make sense.
I probably would not be here.
Life would be pretty boring, to say the least.
I remember when I kissed you, you said it made your day. Could have asked you out 1,000 times, but instead I made you wait. You think it's funny when I text you, and you like to hit delete. I'm a sucker when you knock me out, Muhammad Ali. I can't get enough, but I swear you'll be the death of me. You're all that I live for. We're always so up and down. It's a game of cat and mouse. I swear I'm gonna catch you now, and never gonna let you out. It's like we're always so up and down. I'm the cat and you're the mouse. Gonna get you. Gonna get you. I can't stand it when you tease me, but I love it all the same. I don't know who I'd be without these games that we play. I can't get enough, but I swear you'll be the death of me. You're all that I live for. We're always so up and down. It's a game of cat and mouse. I swear I'm gonna catch you now, and never gonna let you out. It's like we're always so up and down. I'm the cat and you're the mouse. Gonna get you. Gonna get you. Gonna get you. Gonna get you. Gonna get you. Get ya. Get ya. Get ya. Get ya. Get ya. Get ya. La-di-da. La-di-da. La-di-da-da. La-di-da. La-di-da. La-di-da. We're always so up and down. It's a game of cat and mouse. I swear I'm gonna catch you now, and never gonna let you out. It's like yeah. We're always so up and down. I'm the cat and you're the mouse. Gonna get you. Gonna get you. Gonna get you.
This is one of the world's most wonderful first grades. They are Mrs. Sandhu's class, and we are going to do a dance from Turkey called İşte Hendek, which means dig the ditch. But very hard to dig a ditch with a scarf, let's be honest. Ready? Eyes here. Watch me only do what I do. Bounce. Music is a performing art, and it's an expressive art. And it gives them an opportunity to sort of be free in here. In addition to the ethnic dances that we do, we also do a tremendous amount of free movement where they are allowed to be whatever I tell them they can be allowed to be. And we're kind of seasonal with the movement. For example, in the fall, we'll do a lot of falling leaves, we'll do chipmunks, we'll do squirrels, and then I might also coordinate with what they're doing in the classroom. For example, if a classroom is doing the rainforest, then I will do rainforest animals. We do a lot of crazy things, like they can be robots or they can be marshmallows floating in hot chocolate. And it really is a different form of expression for them that they would not get to do anywhere else. they come in the beginning of the year, particularly kindergarten, they kind of have that deer in the headlights look. So that's why we do a lot of props in here, because I'm sort of taking the focus off of them and feeling uptight, where they are more focused if I give them a scarf or whatever, I choose to give them. So I think they become more confident in this room. I'm hoping the cultural things that we do to even just to listen to music from other countries is something that they've never ever heard before. For example, if we do music from Turkey or from Egypt, those are extremely different sounding than what they are used to in terms of pop music or American music. There's the cultural piece. And then also what I like is I talked about the expressive piece of it, where they may learn to express themselves in art next door, or learning to express themselves through music, or perhaps they love reading. In music, what I look at it as is just giving them the opportunity to find out if this is their thing. It may not be their thing, but it certainly is for some children.
1, 2, ready, play!
Just maracas, ready, go! It's a huge amount of cooperation because if they have a certain part, they are not allowed to play during anyone else's part, and they have to listen to the other students in the class. They can't just bang their instruments as loudly and as fast as they would like to. So the thing I think about music is nice is that there is a form to it. If everybody just plays whatever they want, whenever they want, there's no form, and it really doesn't sound like music. So that is something that we emphasize here. Without a doubt, is listening to the other students in the class. If you can only hear yourself, then we know you're playing too loudly.
Music has helped me become a really colorful person, if that makes any sense at all. It makes me feel like if I don't have music, I don't believe I could kind of channel in the emotion and the compassion that I have for things and people and just life. Mr. Lamondola, he's brilliant, and he said music is personal and we take it personally. And I think having something to yourself, because music can be, seen as a team thing, because choral, you do have to learn how to work together, so it does bring teamwork, but individuality is something that you can't take away. Music is something that you can't take away from someone. You can take away their instrument, but you can't take away the musical person that's within them, and I think that really makes an individual.
A 1 and a 2 and A, go!
So they took A and made it cool. Clap 2, clap 3, clap 4, clap, stop.
My most fulfilling moment in music, I think, was the first time I hit a high F. I always said that I wanted to sing nice and high, and I just never thought I was going to be capable of that, because I just was always somewhat low and sort of in a belty, range, but my head voice just one day just decided, hey, I'm gonna work, and it was the most amazing thing. And I was with my voice teacher, and she was like, keep going, you're on E flat, and then I hit the F, and I think I screamed. I mean, it was loud, because obviously it's really high and just kind of inaudible, but even though it is, but it was just amazing. But I think student teaching has brought me a sort of community and love. It's so funny, I'll walk down the hallway or I'll go out in the public and I'll hear, hi, Miss Seidman, and I'll be like, what? Like, that's me. And I've always wanted to do this, and when a kid asks me for help and I'm able to help them on the keyboards, and I work through it a couple times with them and they get it right, and it's just like, you did it, and I helped you, I brought you to the point, and I make them feel good because they were able to accomplish that, and there's no greater feeling. Or when I'm working on a choral piece, this is my favorite, I love choral music so much, and I was teaching, I'm teaching the 8th grade for good as they're moving up ceremony song, and they started crying, and I said, why are you crying? And they were like, this just makes me so emotional. I was like, this song, it's a piece that I'm working on, the harmonies and the melody that I am bringing to them are bringing emotion into them, and that's just the greatest reward. I guess went into music education because, like I said, music has given me a gift. It's given me a gift to listen and communicate and understand and just live, and it just makes me feel invincible every time I'm able to hit a high E or, play a new song on piano even though I'm not that good. And it's just, if I can give people and children that feeling of just being invincible and just having some sort of talent, then my life would be complete. Music brings people together. It helps you just understand each other, because it's such a bold way of just getting out your emotions and your feelings, and it's an outlet to so many children, and therefore I think it should be exposed to you as young as it possibly can, because it's just such an asset to a child.
In the words of Mr. Holland, see, his principal said to him, if I could choose music books or math books, I choose math or English. And Mr. Holland said, well, if you take away music, they won't have anything to read or write about.
And he brought joy, joy, joy to my soul.
Music has been with us since the birth of man. Before we had organized language, we were actually playing music together. Before we could even almost communicate through oral language, we were finding places to play music together. There's stories of these caves in Africa. They found all of these flutes that were thousands and thousands of years old, much earlier than we had organized language. And they were all in one little spot in this cave. Well, these flutes took months to make. They were hand carved. They were boned, so they took human bone and made them slick, waterproof, and more resistant to being broken. And they were in the spot in this cave that sounded the best. So not only did they come together across the desert to get there, they actually found a spot to play together where it sounded good, even before they could communicate with language. That's why it's been with us from the dawn of our existence.
I think that what makes music have such a great impact on people is that it's just artwork for the ears. We live in a very visual-centered world where we see things and we interpret things through sight, but music, we hear it, and it conveys a completely different message. It taps into our emotional centers, and we hear things, and it kind of has this effect on us that it's totally different from the way we see the rest of the world, and it is just something so amazing.
It is important, I believe, to listen to all styles of music, to influence yourself with all forms of art, and then fashion an opinion on things. I am not a fan of kids saying, well, I don't like, just for lack of a better term, opera. And I would say, have you ever listened to it? They say, no. I'm not a fan of that. So I am here to at least expose them to this stuff. And then once they have all the facts, they can make a decision on whether it's for them or whether it's not.
In concert band this year, we do a piece about snakes. And then we have this other piece that's used for a march in marching band. There's so many different types of music opportunities I think people can have in band or just in anywhere in music. And I think that's what brings so many people together, because there's so many different genres and there's always something for someone.
Exposing kids to the arts and things at a young age, they will either decide it's something they want to do or something that they don't want to do. And if they want to do it, you find that a lot of kids, say 7, 8, 9 years old, can get very passionate about things like that, and they'll throw themselves into it. It's important for an adult in their lives to encourage them. It might not be what the cup of tea that the adult likes, but I think it's still important for adults to encourage kids at a young age. We know that with languages, kids who start languages early are going to complete them and learn them much faster than people that are older. So I think it's vital to get kids started on anything at a young age to see if they want to pursue it or not.
I was lucky because I came from a very musical family. My sister and a good family friend both are amazing singers, and they got me to love music very early on in my life. But I didn't really join any sort of musical education program until high school, and I will admit that I suffered because of that. You go in and you have people who have learned so much and who are so far ahead of you, and it takes a lot to catch up. And I think that had there been more hype for music, had there been people more actively trying to get me to do things and show my love for music, then I would have probably been in there, and I probably would have a better place in my musical community than I do now because of it. But you know, there are a lot of people out there who never discover any love of music, and I think that's a shame because of how much of an impact it can have on your life.
Lord, He brought joy that morning, joy when He saved me.
Joy that morning, joy when He blessed me. I'll tell it, how He brought this joy to my soul.
Music is used in every part of our life, and although you may not notice that, if you really do listen, I mean, music is in everything.
I don't know, like I live off of music, and it makes me happy. So I think without it, I'd probably be really depressed and lonely and upset.
If music wasn't available in schools, of course I wouldn't have the same degree of proficiency I've acquired over my years in high school.
Most of my high school life has been with music, and that's basically why I love going to school, is because of music. So I wouldn't really have had anything fun to do here without music.
What really would be a shame is that I would be missing out on the community around me.
As a freshman, I came into band pretty just scared, I guess, because I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't know what it was going to be like. And the first thing that I really saw was how the hospitality and the welcoming of these people, that they really care about the incoming freshmen, and because they really want to help build the program and make it the best it can be.
When I was in middle school, I wasn't involved with music, and I had very few friends, very few people that I could relate to. But when I joined band my freshman year, chorus my sophomore year, it was automatically this sense of community that I could trust everybody around me, and that we all had this similar love for music and love for many other things too. And it was a common grounds by which so many of my relationships have grown. and that is why I couldn't imagine a world where we don't have music in our schools.
I really look forward coming to band every other day, and I just enjoy it because the people in it are awesome. And Mr. Friend is one of the best directors that's ever taught me.
I'll tell you that some of my biggest mentors in life have been my band director, Mr. Friend, my chorus director, Mr. Law. They have taught me so much on about how to be better as a person, how to run my life, organize my life, treat other people, and just things that they're able to teach me through music and through their own lessons, which I know I will take with me for the rest of my life.
What I try to have them do is it really, in my classes, get a passion for something and try to keep going with it, no matter what it is.
Especially Mr. Friend, he's taught me so much and how to be a better musician and to be a better person. And there's just something it's great about that.
And when I was a sophomore and I started in special chorus, on a whim, my sister dragged me down here in the beginning of sophomore year, and I sang, and my teacher said, "You've got a good voice. We need to get you doing this." So I fell in love with it. It was just something I needed, I guess, in my life. Fell in love with it. And then I was taking music appreciation right in this very room. I said to myself, "You like music, don't you?" And myself agreed. And I went up to my chorus teacher, at the time my music preach teacher, and I said to him, "Do you think that I would make a great music teacher one day?" And he said, "I think you would make an unbelievable music teacher one day, with your style, your personality, all those things, and your talent." And I said, "Well, I would really like to have your job one day." And he said, "I'm going to give it to you." And he did.
Well, there are a few things that you learn about life when you're in the music program. For one, you learn how to be in a community, how to have these friends that are always going to be around you, and you learn to work with them. You learn how to build those relationships, maintain those relationships, and try to make those relationships as strong as possible.
I thought that maybe I wasn't going to be the best friends with some of the people in the band, but when we play with each other, it's just great, and there's a connection, and it's just wonderful to have, and being in the band has really helped me through high school and become the person I have become.
You learn friendship with people around you, you learn musicality, and I mean, overall you just have fun, and it's just such a great experience.
There's so many things that you do outside of band, and because I'm in the jazz band also, and we play out, and we have gigs, and they're so much fun. And we do a huge trip every other year, I should say. And it's just a lot of fun to compete.
I think classes like choruses and stuff really teach you how to be a team, because if you're not all working together, then it's not gonna sound good.
Yeah, chorus teaches you that, you all have a part in something, and without one person, the whole thing can fall apart.
So you really need to learn how to work as like one unit.
You all need each other, and you all need to depend on each other in order to get by.
And that's a really good skill, I think, for the future, because you can't live your life all by yourself. You have to learn how to work with other people. So I think that my music classes definitely help me cooperate with other people in a way that's beneficial for me.
It teaches you to work with people and understand people.
Hi, my name is Brooke Stein. I live in Staten Island, New York, and I go to the College of Staten Island, and I'm here to tell you why I find music so amazing. I love it for so many reasons. I mean, it's just, I don't even think it's explainable half the time. I love it because there's meaning behind it. You're doing it because you love it. You're doing it because you're helping others. You're doing it to entertain others. And most importantly, you're doing it to entertain yourself.
Hi, my name is Kelly Dawn Johnson. And without music, I wouldn't be alive today. I took choir in high school, and it was my favorite class. It was music, and it filled my heart and my soul. And for any student or person that's going through a hard time, music is a way for them to express themselves and to know that there are other people that feel that way, that are there, that have been there, that can help them. And music is life. Music is everything. No matter what anyone says, music is what will save a person's life.
Hi, my name is Sean Cardwell. I'm a graduating senior at Londonderry High School in New Hampshire, and music is just so powerful in life. You can hear a song that you haven't heard in 10 years and sing along word for word, but you can't remember what you had for dinner 3 months ago. That just shows you how powerful and worthwhile music is, and just the amount of talent that you can hear coming out of your classmates in school, in band class or in music class, orchestra, any sort of class. It's just amazing to see the talent comes out of them, just as amazing as seeing a friend create a sculpture of a person or a painting or anything like that. It's just something an art form that really is important in life.
Hi, I'm Stephanie with City Club Interviews. Hey, I'm Sabrina Lane Smith. I'm with Underground Symphony.
This is Radio J, Radio for the Scene.
Hi, I'm Tim number 37, owner of Hate the Hate.
Without music,
life would be black.
Life would just not be the same. I am an openly gay man, and I was on a date with a guy, and we got attacked by a group of guys that made me watch them beat the living crap out of the guy I was out on a date with, and they held me at knife point and with a gun. And then they pistol whipped me afterwards, and it was just an incredibly terrifying experience that I took, and instead of getting depressed or really freaking out, I changed that emotion and put together Hate the Hate, which is a concert series that caters more toward the LGBT community, especially the youth, because online bullying and being picked on in school has unfortunately caused many youths who have a bright future ahead of them to take their own lives. And instead of losing our youth and destroying themselves, I created a safe haven for people and bands to get together, show that we won't tolerate the discrimination and the hate, and the money that's raised from these concert events are donated to the Trevor Project, the It Gets Better Project, and the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, as well as local centers such as in New York, the Hetrick Martin Institute, and out here in Connecticut, where the first Hate the Hate Connecticut is where we're at right now, a portion of the proceeds will be donated to the Brookfield Care Center. Without music, I honestly don't know what I would do or where I would have been. I don't know what I would have turned to. I don't know how I would have handled the situation that I was in. It would have been completely different. I don't know if I would have still been here. I come from a history of depression, and I've had suicidal thoughts when I was younger, and going through a traumatic experience such as the one that I experienced, people can tend to turn to suicide as an option, but it's not. It's definitely not an option. Things do get better. Life does help you heal and move on. So I'm very, very grateful every day more and more to music and to the music family that I've developed being in the music industry for 12 years.
I mean, music has changed my life because it's something that I'm passionate about. Just working with bands and meeting all different types of people. I've met so many friends through music, and it's so great when you find someone and you're like, because one of my favorite bands is Envy on the Coast, and when I find people that like Envy on the Coast they broke up like 2 years ago, but when I find people who like that band, it's like you're just bonded, and it feels great when you bond with people over music.
Everybody can remember the song they danced to at their prom, the song that they got married to, the song that was playing, they found out that they were going to have a baby, whatever it is, whatever big event it is in your life, there's music that corresponds to that.
I worked on the Fuse Network on a TV show called Uranium for years, and a lot of the artists that I grew up loving and whose music really made an impact on me as a kid to you know, just be yourself and basically what other people think and all that, like Marilyn Manson, Otep Shemaya. I've been able to not only meet these people, but I'm now grateful that I can call these people my friends and keep in contact with them. And I've been blessed with the life that I've lived and the career path that I've chosen working in music, because I have been able to create something like Hate the Hate. I also own a company called Rock and Roll for the Cure, where we raise money for cancer research, and I've been able to work with a lot of people that I call my heroes and my friends, and really make a difference.
You know, one of my earliest memories of music is sitting next to my father when he was playing his guitar, and I would turn the pages in his songbooks, and it's something that stuck with me.
In elementary school and in middle school, music was a big part of my curriculum. I had one of the best music teachers ever, Miss Chuka. I was actually just talking to my mom last night about her because she went to a middle school play, and I used to be in the middle school plays, and she was saying that what was missing was the great musical aspect, and that was because of my music teacher, Miss Chuka. And we had so much fun in music class, and it just really, we learned about different cultures. She would bring in, like, you know, the African drummers, and she would talk about different cultures, and we learned instruments, and we learned the basic stuff, and it's just, you know, not everything's just about math and science and reading, you know. People go in different directions, and there are people that are on the creative musical side, and if they don't have that education, they're not going to know it until later in life. And, you know, it's never too late to start something, but it's good to have a good foundation.
Music is ageless. I know kids that are a year old that are banging on the drums and they have a natural talent. How can our youth ever really learn what their talents are and what a possibility of their future and a career or to make a difference is without having music in schools? It's a very, very positive attribute to have in local schools, to be able for kids to pick up an instrument, to write music, to be artistic and really open up their artistic freedom and who they are through their creativity.
I started playing violin when I was 3 years old. Since then I've picked up a bunch of instruments, and now I play instruments, but I'm also working in the industry, so I think it definitely helps. It's something that I love, it's definitely a big part of my life.
You're just allowed to be whoever you want to be, because it's an art form and you're expressing yourself, and that's what life is all about. It's finding who you are and how to express yourself.
Yeah, we had a history of music, and which was cool because we never really had that program before, and it, you know, it made me learn more about it, different bands and whatnot. I did like a report on Genesis. That was the first time I actually went out, researched a band, and appreciated their music more, because I was actually had to study about them and do a presentation, and no teacher ever challenged me like that before.
Schools definitely need music because we as people need music, and especially our young. It's the first way they really learn how to express themselves in a creative aspect.
It's kept me out of trouble. It's certainly kept me happier, well-adjusted. Just, you know, music in my school was very important.
It's definitely like something that calms a lot of people down. Like if you're listening to people, like music, and you're in a bad mood or anything, it just like relax you and make you happy again.
As a songwriter, I write material that is based around my actual life, and you know, some of it may not be the most uplifting, and some of it may not be a happy-go-lucky story, as music a lot of times isn't. But the truth is that if you can find a way to get that emotion out through the music, maybe you won't waste your emotions in other ways.
Music basically is everything. It is my everything. It's the reason why I keep pushing and keep living and keep fighting for the things that I believe in, and trying to help the littler guy that doesn't feel like they have the inner strength or the power within themselves to stand up for what they believe in.
I've had some friends, personal friends, that decided that life was a little too hard, and And once they've made that decision, there's no going back from it.
One thing I always tell those people is listen to your favorite album, listen to your favorite song, and take what you need from that and realize that every day is worth living. You only get one chance at this life, and make it count.
Luckily for me, I've never had to feel like that, and I've never gotten that way. But I also feel like I've written it down. And even if those songs were heard or were not heard, they were written. And sometimes that's the therapy.
Since you've all arrived, we've seen this home as much more than a place. Past our troubled times, we think of the future. Where we go from here, now, later through the years. Starts from yesterday to save tomorrow.
We are the go-to, and music is what brought us together. That was not. You didn't that at all. One time.
Hold on.
I was like Dr. One more time. Ready? That's a
1,
song.
2,
Daft
3.
We are the go-to, and music is what brought us together.
Hey, don't worry. They don't need that. Come on, keep them up. I know. This song's called Remember When. I remember when you were you, and that was the only thing that mattered. Now you do the things you do, trying to climb that social ladder. You're a must-have, the way that you move. But hey, pretty girl, I think he's feeling you. Oh, you got what he wants, you know you'll give it up. You got what he wants, you're giving up.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jimmy G. This is Jimmy. I'm the drummer from Craving Strange.
Hi, I'm Tommy Bowles.
Hey, this is Matt from Craving Strange. Without music, life would be boring.
Empty. Life would have no rhythm.
Without music, life would suck. I really couldn't imagine life without music. I don't think it's possible.
It's hard to say that there could be anything without music. Everything has like a rhythm, you know?
How would life be different without music? That's such a huge question.
It's not gonna be okay. It won't be okay.
It's like, I don't know, it'd be a completely different experience because for me personally, like the degree to which it affects you is different for every person. But I think it reaches everybody at least a little bit. Music is definitely universal, and I find that I can speak to people without having to put words in my music, like Sean said. The same with like the flutists that I know that are amazing and play at Berkeley, or the trombonists or the saxophonists. It's not genre locked, like he said. You don't have to play rock music and rip out a face-melting solo in order to communicate with someone and like connect through emotion. You can show someone your feelings and your thoughts through music, and that's, I think, more powerful than any other tool that we have. Because you don't have to both speak English, you don't have to both speak Spanish, you just have to be able to hear and listen.
Music, as cheesy as it sounds, it's life, it's vibrant, it has its highs, it has its lows, but without it, there's nothing. So I feel, that's it in a nutshell.
I think music is kind of, obviously, it's been said, it's a soundtrack to people's lives, and it brings emotion and feelings to situations and makes people feel something, whether it be good, bad, sad, alive, whatever it is, it makes people feel.
I think music affects people in so many different ways because it's what you connect with underneath. And there's two things about it. One is that you can have people that come from all different places. You don't know, when we play a show, we don't know where people are coming from. They could have just come from the best day of their lives to the worst day of their lives. And in some ways you can't change that, but in other ways, when I go see a band that I love, everything else stops for a bit, and you get into the world that band is in, and we like to bring people into the world that we're in. And I think that's something that's awesome because it brings everybody together. It brings everybody together at the same time that they're being individuals, and it's hard to explain that until you're there and you see it, but I think it affects people because you look around and you realize that in some sense everybody has some of the same issues that are going on. They look different, but there's a lot of the same things that we're working with, and I think that's extremely powerful.
I think music affects people as much as it does. It's because it's like truly the only real universal language, you know, in life, and it's, you know, like everybody can get music. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, like who you are. Everybody gets it, and I think that's what's such a cool thing about music, and I think that's why the four of us have like really put ourselves completely into it.
Music is a medium, and like every other medium, it's just as important because through mediums you have people expressing their thoughts and their emotions and things they do, like even like simple benign things that they do through a medium. And through music, if kids are learning music, they get to express themselves in the same way that a young aspiring filmmaker can make a film that expresses their thoughts and their emotions. And it's just as important as every other medium, and even arguably more so because music is so diverse and so moldable. It's so malleable. You can make it into any shape you want and reflect what you think, what you feel, what you do.
I've had songs affect me in crazy ways when I was just so depressed. It just, you know, brought the light. And I've had songs that some people would look at and be like, oh, those lyrics are corny. And people are like, it just made my day, and I had a terrible day today, and it made my day. And so I don't know what it is about a song that affects people. Sometimes it's the lyrics, sometimes maybe it's the beat. It just, I don't know. It's a crazy thing, but music does affect people, and it's something I think about constantly when I'm writing.
At least for when I'm on stage, it puts you in a very vulnerable space, and I don't think you really get that too often with almost anything else.
If you're passionate, if kids are passionate about music, then they should utilize that passion and use it to go on to do greater things and inspire people.
Everyone kind of goes through the same type of problems, or similar. You know, like everyone's broken up with someone, and obviously even more on the serious side of things, everyone's maybe lost a family member or lost someone close to them. So I think it's easy to get connected to it because maybe someone's able to put it in better words than maybe you would think to say it. So it's kind of, yeah, it's like, oh, maybe I didn't think of it that way, or this and that. It kind of maybe sheds like a whole new light on how you're feeling, or helps you maybe deal with it. And I think that's why sometimes music can really have a strong impact.
You know, people can relate to certain things that maybe they didn't think of in a song, or maybe it's just like a feeling that emotes from, you know, whatever those chords are, or the vibe of music, and that just kind of brings them into an area of either, you know, happiness or sadness or whatever it is that, you know, they want to feel, or if they want to escape something and just go into a place where they can just listen to a song and it makes them feel a certain way that, you know, it helps them. You know, for me, at least in my music, the stuff that I write, I always kind of envision as being, you know, experiences that other people go through, and then they can maybe use that song to help themselves.
It's kind of like the human body's most natural form of expression, I think.
I was never bullied per se, but I was quiet in middle school. I was a very quiet person. When I started doing music, and especially in high school, it just, like I said earlier, it really helped open me up, and it really did a lot for me as a person. It helped me make friends, helped me be more outgoing. It was really a great thing. I don't know what I would have done without learning music in high school and without, you know, doing a choir class and all that kind of stuff. It really helped.
What people need to realize sometimes is they're taking music out of schools because they're wanting to focus on things like math and science, which are great, which are amazing things that need to be focused on because, you know, that you're running the world. But you also have to realize that not everybody fits in the same box. And unfortunately, people tend to try and put everybody into that same box. And you've got a whole wide array of kids that aren't getting what they need or aren't picking it up, and they're feeling insecure, or they're feeling like they can't do something, or their grades aren't up, or that if they had a music class or they had an art class or they had something else, it's something that would drive them and it would motivate them.
You know, I learned one thing one day and learned how to do that. Okay, well, what can I learn tomorrow? And strive to just improve myself and just kind of escape and just find, you know, my own home.
They don't fit in that little box, so why would we exclude them? You know, not offering everything is a form of exclusion, and that's just wrong on every level.
In my senior year, I was taking economics. I had this teacher, Mr. Kalner, and I was pretty much failing his class miserably. I'm terrible at economics, and it was going to hold me back from graduating. And he kind of knew the path I was on with music and how much I was really into it and how good I was at it and believed in me. And he really just kind of pulled me aside and said, you know, don't worry about it. I'm going to pass you because I believe in you and I think you got something really special here. And it's what pushed me through and didn't hold me back to become, you know, a second senior. So I think something like that is really like, someone like Mr. Callner really has true wisdom because he can see outside of the box of just regurgitating stuff onto a test paper. And that somebody has legitimate opportunities to be successful in the world outside of school.
There are kids who play sports, there are kids who paint, they are poets, and there's musicians. You know, it's just that way of telling people how you're feeling or how you want to feel. And I think kids should be exposed to music just because it gives you that outlet, and kind of what I was talking about a little bit before is it's your music, it's your sound, it's your love. No one can take that away from you.
I mean, I think for me the key thing that is writing, is songwriting, you know, for me, because I get to express so many things that maybe I would never say, like in life. You know, if I'm having a conversation with, you know, a girl or a friend or whatever, there's a lot of things that I can talk about and use music as an outlet for that I would never talk about in life. So it's awesome to be able to do that. And also, you know, just the fact that, you know, it helps other people, I think is pretty important.
For me personally, it's just the best way I know to express myself. So, yeah, to me it's even easier than just talking. You know, to kind of sit down on your own, write out ideas, write how you feel, and there's really there's no right or wrong with how you do it. Maybe subjectively other people will say, I don't like what you're saying, or I don't think it's smart, this and that, but in that moment when you're by yourself, no one can change or take that away.
We think kids should be exposed to music because, you know, as we all were, we've all been surrounded by it from a young age, and it really it inspires creativity, and it really inspires you to be your own person and, you know, set your own standards, your own, you know, you can really express your own thoughts, your own ideas, and it's a really great way to just channel who you are and really become who you really are on the inside. I think that's really what it's about.
I lost my favorite teacher who is, he only works there part-time now, and I did a concert band all 4 years, and it helped me meet a bunch of people and helped me sight read music and all this stuff. But I graduated, and when I graduated, they cut it.
They did. And
he was left with it.
Yeah, they do not have a music program in there anymore, which is very unfortunate, just because it's a class you can like enjoy going to and have like fun and just express yourself just through music.
I signed up for music theory. I signed up for taking I can't remember what it's like, piano lessons in the school and stuff like that, and they dropped them right before the year that I was going to take them all. So I didn't get to do those things, and to this day I still struggle with reading music and writing notation, and it's something I really wish I would have been able to take in school because it would have helped me along a lot. I managed to work my way around it, and a lot of kids do that. They get creative and they work around it. But if you have the opportunity, kids are going to take it and they're going to learn. And you know, there's no substitute for learning. Once you start to get it, if they offer it, it's like a situation where they're encouraging you. And the best thing you can do is encourage someone to do something like that.
Obviously, keeping music in schools is huge. I actually did a charity show for that specific thing about a month ago. Because without it, you know, this is the next generation of artists, and artists kind of are who, you know, set the tone for the rest of the world, and people follow artists and musicians, and you know, I think the kids are starting earlier and earlier now, which is amazing, because by the time they get to be, you know, 18, they already have, you know, their chops down and they have experience, and they've been doing it for a while. I was unfortunate to not start till I was later, you know, because it wasn't really pushed on me. I wish I would have started earlier, but and if I can do anything, you know, my part to keep music in schools, that I do. That's why I did that show last month. So.
If I had had the opportunity to take music in school, I would have been a lot further along. I wouldn't have had to try and do so many things on my own. It would have eliminated some of that frustration with trying to teach myself something that, being more of an artistic person, it was harder to try and pick up on my own. Whereas if I was in a class and I had someone that was a good teacher that could, figure out a way to help me learn it, I would have progressed a lot faster. I would have been further. I'd be further along now than I am. I really wish I was able to take it. So I think it's really unfortunate when they take that opportunity away from people that want it.
Well, if it would have been pushed more to my school and I would have started earlier, I'd be a lot better. Now I would have probably matured a lot, musically, and at a younger age I would have, pushed myself. Like right now, constantly, at my age now, I'm just constantly pushing myself to write better and become a better artist in general. So the earlier you start, obviously, the better you get a head start on everybody else, and it's just you appreciate things more the more and more experience you have with it, and obviously that's very important.
Okay, there's a number of reasons why kids should be exposed to music. One is confidence. If you're doing it, it hugely builds your confidence.
I think that music class isn't just learning about music in general as a kid. It helps on both sides of the spectrum. What I'm talking about is that it kind of helps to build trust between like if you're in a concert band and you're playing with 50 other kids, whatever, there are other kids in your section that you need to trust. You need to trust everyone else to sound good, and you need to rely on others to have a good sound and be successful. So I think that kind of helps you rely on others in life, because there are going to be plenty of times when you need to feel comfortable with other people and trust that they'll do the right thing at the right time. And I think that music classes specifically help with that, but then also I think that it helps you as an individual too, because it gives you a chance to be creative, and even if you're not playing with say 20 other kids, 50 other kids, whatever it is, you'll still get the chance to create something of your own, and I think that builds your confidence level.
I've done theater shows and all these different things, but music has this bit of, Justin was saying a little bit before, you have to put yourself out there, and there's nothing else better to just get up there, and the first times you'll be terrible. You'll just be god-awful. Most chances you won't be that good, and you learn so much about life throughout too, because there's no quick way about it. Music, you can't shortcut it. You have to just sit and play and play and play and play it until you get it. And I think that, one, it builds confidence. Two, I think builds pride in an art that you're actually doing.
My senior year, my choir teacher was Christian school. She came to me and she was like, "Where the hell have you been?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "For the last 3 years," and she gave me every lead solo that year. And I was so happy. I was like, "Oh my God!" I kind of felt pressure, but at the same time, I couldn't believe that was happening, and it was fantastic. It was a really great thing.
3, you just create and you express yourself.
I think it's very important for kids to, learn how to play music, to be able to have that education, because it gives them an outlet. It gives them a way to express themselves. Maybe someone doesn't know how to express themselves, and music, for me, actually, it was an outlet. I didn't know how to get my feelings out sometimes. Sometimes I was kind of quiet when I was younger, and music was the first chance for me to express myself and really be me. And it's made me a much more outgoing person and a more confident person. I definitely think it's a good thing to have.
Music was the one thing that helped me find a purpose.
The music class is more of a catalyst to help a kid get in touch with his musical side.
And 4, it's communal. So, there's been countless times when I've been with other people, or I would just be I would be at college playing piano, and someone would just come in, and we just start talking about it, and it's something that you share. So I think there are more reasons than that, but those are a few of them.
I'll be honest, learning how to play music and doing that in school and everything saved me from probably getting into way more trouble than I ever could have handled, and is probably one of the reasons that I'm here.
Personally speaking, on behalf of the Go-To, when you experience music, you work as a group, and you all work together to kind of create this project. So I think what is really awesome about it is that if you are part of something musical and it's a group effort, you that kind of group mentality and that idea of working together to create a bigger picture is what's so awesome about it. I think that's what people can really take from music and really put into the real world.
I think it does help with even schoolwork, if you want to just talk. in that sense. It's just a way to kind of keep your brain working and understand. I mean, music is like a language, the same way that you maybe would understand like a math equation or what have you. Like it could very well, if you can understand music, there's no reason why you can't understand that stuff as well. So it's just like another tool you're learning. So even if I think it's important for even young kids to at least be introduced to music. So once maybe high school comes around, they have the option of whether they want to continue with it or not. But I think it's just as important as any science class or math class.
My whole life is a constant lesson, and it's always about music, because it's what I do. So every decision that I make is based around my music, and as I continue to live, I continue to get more and more things to write about, and you're constantly just learning, and every decision that we make is, or at least I make, is based around, it all comes back to the one thing, which is music, and writing songs and getting better. And so I mean my life is being learned through music pretty much.